Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been like forever. I mean, I think it's been like 2 years or maybe longer since I filmed, but as we all know, life has been pretty chaotic, especially with, you know, the pandemic and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that has changed in my life. If you want an update, then let me know in the comments below. But this video is basically a Q&A from my Instagram of questions you guys have asked me. So let's just get into the video. Okay, so we're going in with a pretty deep question, but how do you deal with urges to self-harm? And this is quite a difficult question. I would say it takes a lot of practice. It obviously becomes a coping strategy for people, and you know, we all get into the habit of doing something that we think helps us, but it can be potentially unhelpful. And I think it just takes a lot of practice. I really recommend, if you can get any kind of therapy, to try that, because I've got a therapist in the past few years and that has definitely been beneficial to me. But you know, it's the classic thing of saying distractions, and you know, the wave rides and those feelings don't last forever. You know, doing like things to just self-soothe yourself and calm yourself down, having hobbies that you enjoy, and you know, before you get yourself into that moment, like, you've got to practice these skills before you're in that crisis. Otherwise, you know, when you're in a crisis, you feel like everything's chaotic and you know, you can't really do anything. So I say practicing the skills when you're in a good headspace of, like, you know, things that soothe you and help, you know, distract you is a good idea. And it could be things like, you know, colouring, taking like bubble baths, like running, anything really that distracts you. But you know, even if like if say you like the feeling of the thing that brings you, I don't want to be triggering, but you could use stuff like ice packs and cold water and cold showers and stuff like that. You know, there's lots of different coping strategies that are positive, and it takes a long time, but you know, I've been self-harm free for quite a while now, and it does get easier. It does get easier over time, and you know, you've just got to find what works for you. But definitely do it when you're in a good headspace, and not always when you're in a crisis. Practice it before you do it. This is quite a similar question, but so how do you cope when you're struggling and not revert to old behaviours? I think just like, you learn within time what you like. After you've been in recovery for a while, you realise what was unhelpful, and you know, sometimes you think that helped you in the past, but it really doesn't. And you know, when you get further into recovery, you realise what really was unhelpful and not good for you. And I think, like, you know, this could revert to, like, you know, eating disorders and going back to relapsing or self-harm urges or overdosing or anything like that. Like, you know, you have to see the negative impact it has and how it can affect you. Opposite actions type thing, like, you know, if you're feeling negative, turn it into a positive, and just find things that, you know, are healthy and cope that way. And it takes a lot of practice, but once you get into the habit of not doing it for a while, it becomes a lot easier and you can manage it, and then it just becomes second nature to you, basically. Why did you leave uni? Basically, I left uni because of my mental health, brutally. It's a very stressful degree, nursing is, and I just wasn't mentally prepared for it. I had too many breaks, and it was just causing too much mental health issues and declines for me. And you know, I've always had that focus that I want to do it, and that's the only thing I have to do in order to have my life in order. But taking a break from it and focusing on my recovery has been the best decision I've ever made. I've always had my heart set on nursing, and I've actually got a job as a mental health support worker after being out of work and education for 2 years, and you know, I'm starting to see there's different career pathways and different ways of getting to where I want to be, and they put a lot of pressure on you to get your degrees and stuff, and you know, it works for some people but for others it doesn't. You know, in the future I might go, I really do want to do it, but I'm just making sure I'm really mentally prepared, because even someone with mental illness doing nursing is, you know, a huge drain and struggle on your mentality. I take my hat off to people that, you know, have done their nursing degrees, I really do. But yeah, like maybe I'll go back to it in the future, I don't know. What's the best piece of advice you received relating to recovery? That's a good question. The best advice I've ever received. It's probably something either one of my therapists or maybe my boyfriend even said, especially with my anorexia. I was never happy with how I looked or how I felt about my body or exposing myself. And since having Harry, my boyfriend, he's taught me ways to love myself, and he loves me for what I look like, and he sees me at my most vulnerable times with my body and stuff, and like it just kind of like relieves a lot of stress and makes you think, well, if he still loves me the way I am, why do I need to change different aspects about me and stuff like that. My boyfriend has really made a lot of impacts on my recovery. But yeah, like, you know, one of the best pieces of advice is that your emotions ride in waves and they never last forever. Like, an emotion can't last for forever, and so you know that it's going to come back down again, so you've just got to ride it out in order, you know, you've just got to have that faith that it's going to go at some point. It may come back, but it's going to go. Do you still struggle with your ED? You know, certain parts of me thinks that I'm never fully going to be completely recovered, like literally like completely recovered from it. I don't know, maybe people do, but I'm not sure about that. But there's certain aspects that sometimes I do, but because I've really fought through them thoughts and, you know, been in recovery with my eating disorder for the longest I've been in, it gets easier to slide those thoughts away and not give in to them. And it's always going to be a worry of mine, but I really feel like this is the strongest point I've been in with my eating disorder. I don't think that you'll ever completely get cured or whatever. You're still going to have the niggles, but you live with it, and it's a lot better than being in the place I was when I was really poorly. So yeah, I don't know, comment what you guys think about, you know, recovering with eating disorders. Do you have a 5-year plan, and if so, what is it? I used to have 5-year plans. I used to like want to plan out my future, but you know, like, I don't know, I'm 25 now, and I kind of thought I might have a child at this age, but now I'm 25, I still feel like a child, and I kind of think like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready, and I think, oh, I'm getting old, like, but no, like, okay, maybe, you know, potentially, like, I'm in a solid relationship, so I could potentially see getting engaged or something like that with my boyfriend, and possibly having my first child when I'm in 5 years, possibly, I think. But you know, like, all I want in life is to be happy, and at the moment I am, so I just want to see where the future takes me and just go along with it. You can't predict the future anyway, so I've learned that. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Where are you in recovery? I don't think there's like a certain, like, well, there are the different stages, I guess, but there's not a certain like point you're at. But I've had relapses, but the last relapse I had was, I controlled it differently because I've learnt these new skills of how to deal with it, and instead of crying and reacting and wanting, like, begging for help, thinking I wouldn't get it, I reached out before I acted on anything, and I got the support straight away. And that's a massive thing. Like, I've been 10 months out of inpatient, and that's not happened to me since I was about 18 years old. Also, have like in my Instagram recovery community will know that I always used to be in A&E for reasons, and that's something that I really am proud of. The fact that, you know, I've managed to go months and months and months without a single trip. And I'd say, like, yeah, I still have a few struggles, but I'm in a pretty solid place with recovery. But, you know, we're all different stages and you can't compare yourself to anyone. I don't want you guys to like compare your recovery to mine, but I do want to say like there is hope, because I've been in some pretty dark places and I never thought I'd get out of it, and you know, here I am in my own flat with a boyfriend, getting a job and all these sorts of things. Like, you know, you never know where life takes you. What has motivated you to get better? Harry is a big motivation for me to get better, because like he's just taught me how to love life again, and you know how much he cares for me and stuff. Like, it just makes me, and like learning to love, it just makes me appreciate things more. I'm motivated to get better for my whole family and all my friends, what I've put them through. And yeah, like I'm motivated to have a family and just have a life full of happiness. And I know there'll be ups and downs, but you know, my biggest motivation is to also help other people. Like, that's my main aim. Like, all the stuff I've been through, like I want to show people that there is hope. That's, you know, that's the motivation for me. What are your diagnoses? Okay, so I don't know what it changes, I guess, but I've been diagnosed, I don't, you know, this isn't a glorifying thing, this is solely a question and what I've been asked, but in the past my diagnoses have been depression, anxiety, eating disorders, like different ones, anorexia and bulimia, and borderline personality disorder is the main current one. So yeah, if you want me to do a separate video on like any of them like ones, then you can ask me. I've also had a few psychotic episodes that I've not actually spoke too much about, but if you guys wanted any stories on them, like I'd be happy to share, so just let me know. How old when you first got your diagnosis for your mental health? I think I was diagnosed with depression when I was literally like maybe 14 years old. I don't know if it was a full diagnosis, but I'm pretty sure they did diagnose me and they wanted to put me on antidepressants. And yeah, when I got diagnosed with my eating disorder, I was about 16, and the BPD wasn't until I was actually 18. I don't think they diagnose you before you're 18 anyway. So young, quite young, but yeah, like I was predisposed to it in family history and stuff. But yeah, that's the age I was diagnosed at. What's your longest admission? I've had like years of admissions, but I've not had, like, my longest admission was about 3 months. And I think when it comes like BPD and stuff like that, they like to keep your admissions short anyway. They don't, like, people will know that. I think they don't really like to keep people in hospital. But when I had a really bad psychotic episode, I did spend 3 months in a private hospital. Yeah, it's difficult, and I don't really tend to believe on longer admissions. I like, you know, especially with BPD, like you can get attachments, and you know, no one ever wants to be institutionalized, so it's a kind of delicate one, but it's also, you know, risk factors and stuff. How long have you been out of hospital? I did answer this, but yeah, 10 months, like over just like 10 months and a few days, which I'm very proud of. And the last question is, are you going to do more YouTube videos again? I want to, but I don't know, like I feel like I've got a bit of anxiety coming off for so long, and I don't really know what sort of videos to make. So if you guys have any like suggestions of like what sort of videos you would like to see, then please do comment below or like message me on Instagram, because I always loved making YouTube videos, but you know, I don't know what people want to watch, so yeah, just let me know. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope it was somewhat helpful or interesting, I don't know. And sorry I've been away for so long. Like I'm gonna try and get back into it if you guys want. As always, you know, follow the links below and all the Instagram and social medias. But I hope you guys are doing well, and you know, I really do reach out if you need support with anything in what I've said about, and I'm always here for you guys. And yeah, I love you guys, so take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.